Welcome back to the channel, and today we are in Nightingale City on our alt. We'll just call it that from now on. We're going to go through a few of the first section of Nightingale City, which is the Queens Brae area. I do try and go through and try to remember where the echoes are. There are 5 echoes in this section of Nightingale City, and I cannot find the last one. So I'm also hoping when I run through this, not only for the fact that I'll be able to get some sovereigns on my main, so that's one of them, I believe. But so not only to get the sovereigns for my main, but also to help me find that last echo, that last hope echo. What makes it confusing is because now there is also some marble busts that you have to find, or you can find, as well as some golden cups, teacups, and I think there's one more item that I'm forgetting. There are also regular echoes as far as I can tell, because I know I've found more than 5, but only 4 of them have counted, which is very confusing, and they don't always show up that great because they do conflict with fire. I don't know if they designed it that way, but it does seem like the fire gives off the same emissive light that the echoes do, and I'm not even entirely certain if it's the ground echoes that are counted. I think they are not, but they have to, because by the time I noticed them, I had found most of them. So, but I know I have found some. I think they are the ground emitting ones also, now that I think about it, but they're also books, so it's very confusing. Sometimes the glow doesn't show up as much. Maybe the glow should be a little more visible if you've already, you know, if you're in the area. Obviously doesn't have to be a beam of light shining down on it, but if you're in the area, it should kind of give you a more indicative option to say, hey, I'm right here. So this area is really crawling with a lot of rooftop snipers and mortars. So those mortar guys, or the bombardiers, I guess we'll call them, they are a killer. Especially if you're just getting in here, they do hit quite hard, and I think they get me right here. I do get a little overrun. No, I don't. It might not be here. I get a little overrun, and this character is running all melee, which is one of the biggest downfalls of the melee. Melee is very powerful, very easy. However, it does get a little complicated once there's a lot of things happening. And the biggest problem with melee is always the range. Range will pick you apart if there's enough of them, and if you're stuck in the middle trying to eliminate things, that tends to get you really well. And actually I was wrong, that wasn't the area that I did got. That's coming up though. As you can see, there's a lot of alleyways here, and in my opinion, a lot of it looks unfinished. Sorry guys, but that's just what it is. Like, there's a lot of detail in the areas that you are walking, but in those areas that are, I guess you're expecting them to not be, they're very regular, bland. So there's also several of those hidden, not so hidden agility tests. There's a couple of these here, rescue missions. You bring the guy back over to wherever it's at, and you get some kind of a reward. Usually, or from my experience, it seems to have been some buildable items. And one thing that they've implemented in this section are these switches here that unlock certain gates that you do need to get through. And we're coming up on one of the books, I think it was. Maybe it wasn't in here. Maybe I missed it, actually. I think there was one in there. But yeah, so this too, these rescue missions, they've implemented these. So what they also have implemented are these little build traps you have to do. So your AI isn't going to know how to, or the NPC you're trying to escort isn't going to know how to jump down something. So like here, we're coming up upon that is going to be, well, actually we're getting to the part where I'm going to get bombarded to death. But you're going to have to build like a stairway or a staircase or a ramp or something to help your NPC get to where you need them to go. So since I was on the roof, instead of going to the... Here's where I think I get nailed. No, it's not this one. But I think it's right around here. There was a lot of sniper fire. It's actually funny if I hurry past it. I am watching this as you are watching it in double speed. So I may have already passed that section. No, it's coming up. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, you're gonna have to, you'll see in a bit, we're gonna go and build a ramp so that the NPC will be able to get away. I think it was this one. Somewhere here. Yeah, actually, it wasn't technically my fault, now that I recall. I was trying to recover my follower, which I should have probably left her. So I get really close here. I got very little magic power. And see, I got 500 health, and 2 or 3 of them hit me, and I just got splattered. I was just about ready to res her, and I was going to dodge away, but it was 1/2 second too late. And if you check that out, I had about 590 health yet. And it wasn't the snipers that were getting me. It was all the bombardiers, because I was behind that little piece, and I don't think there was anybody on the other side of that piece. So I was protected from line of sight gunfire. That's fortunately the only time they got me. They did get close another time, though. But I believe it was when one of these sniper guys did that nonsensical blind you pushback thing. That was the guy, if you saw there real quick, Lewis, I believe his name was. We need to rescue him and bring him to that spot. My climbing picks are extremely outdated, so I do need to upgrade that. I was going to shoot that guy, but then I realized how small of a range the bowgun does, sling bow does actually have. I went back and I did, so here's that part. So you're gonna have to build that little stairs here to get it. I was trying to get a ramp since it's wood. I don't have enough stone, but I couldn't get it to work, so I had to switch to the old faithful, which was the stone stairs, but I didn't have enough stone, so I went looking for it, but I didn't find any. Not for a long while, at least. But yeah, when I went back, at the end of this video, I went back and I upgraded my sickle, since we're probably going to encounter a lot of fiber or plant fiber that I can't cut unless it's level 100, as well as a new bow. So I inadvertently find one right there. I didn't notice that I was standing on it. I couldn't figure out where it was. Maybe if we replay that a bit. I do glaze over it really fast just to open the door, but it actually activated an echo. So that was there. And I did, I do recall doing it on my main. I went to check, however. That's why there was a small skip there. And there's a bag of it. Riches or sovereigns, which is what I really want my main to get, which my main didn't see, so it didn't matter. So that's why gotta reset the map because there are 3 events that happen that do give you the sovereigns. So we just cruise around a little bit until I'm satisfied. I'm not gonna get picked off from, and there's a portion of the unfinished area. Until I was certain, you know, the guy wasn't gonna come out and get just totally killed, and I'd have to restart the whole thing all over again. I don't know if it does actually restart if he dies. Maybe I just have to revive him. But yeah, this area gets pretty close. Also, it gets really hairy. There's a lot of the big guys. There's a lot of the ranged these dark weavers. I think those are the dark weavers, the witches. And then there are all these snipers up in the air. So that they almost got me down there. Yeah, there's just a lot of roof coverage in the area. So we do a couple of these events in the area when my bags are getting full and I notice the time frame. So this video is about just under 20 minutes, I believe. So we just go through a little bit and then I go back, empty my bags, and upgrade. So in the next video we do, it's going to have some of the upgrades I was mentioning, such as the sickle, which I'm not using here, but the climbing picks, which I did notice I did need a lot of. And I might upgrade my umbrella, I don't know yet. The Raven charm really works out great here, because what the Raven charm does is it gives you a little bit of lift when you do actually activate it. So getting to the higher rooftops, or just moving from rooftop to rooftop, helps out a lot, because, well, once you start falling, right? So with the Raven charm, it raises you up quite a bit before you start gliding down. So that's always helpful. It does help. It limits how much you can travel fast with the umbrella. So for a while I was thinking of getting another umbrella or just carrying 2, but that took up too much space. I needed that extra bar for the dispel grenade. But yeah, because of that lift, it does give you a bit of hassle when you are trying to just go someplace fast like I used to. But it outweighs the fact when you do need to climb fast. In a lot of more recent videos, you might notice I don't even use my climbing pick if I don't have to. So it's a very useful charm to have, especially if you combine that with the Wanderer and the Wind, I believe it was. Wind gives your umbrella a little more speed, and the Wanderer doesn't directly affect, well, it does actually, but it's not for the umbrella, it's for all movement. It reduces the cost of stamina for all movement. So those 3 combined, really helpful. And then if you put some speed on it by using your augments on your work table when you build your umbrella, or put a speed infusion on it, that's also the good way to go about it. Not to mention, if you have the right materials to make the umbrella, like the speed increase stuff. I prefer, however, magic or melee on my umbrella over the speed. Well, enjoy the rest of the video here. I'm just going to go through a few more places and we will basically call it quits. So if you like this kind of thing, subscribe and like if you wouldn't mind. Lets me know that it's content you do enjoy. If not, well, thanks for stopping by. If not, have a good day and thanks for watching.